The next song I'd like to sing for you this evening is a song called Time. It was written by music by Joseph Falcon and the lyrics by Barry Kleinbort. That's a beautiful piece for these times. And I'd like to give a special shout out not only to Joshua Goins for playing the piano for me on this, but also to the composer Joseph Falcon, who allowed me to use this piece and send me the music in the key of my choosing. So thank you again, Mr. Falcon. This is Time by Joseph Falcon. There's a film that plays inside my head, full of things we did and words we said. We were both so young, didn't have a dime. All we had was plenty of time. But the world was sweet and life was fine, and the nights were warm as apple wine, and we shared a bed that was made for two, where at night I'd tell all my dreams to you, and you promised they would come true. In time, I would depend on your warming touch. There was no end to your willing heart, and what I asked you would always do, even when I knew what I asked might drive us apart in time. Now that leaves me here so far away, thinking how the two of us went astray. Still I close my eyes and the movie plays that remembers us in our prime. And I get to view me and you in a time when all that we had was time.
Welcome everyone to Mendel Center Connections. I'm Grace Kelmer, and just like every Monday and Thursday, we are here talking with arts and other nonprofit and community leaders around Southwest Michigan. And we just heard Time from Paul Mow, and I have the great pleasure to be sitting here today, not with, but with in spirit, Paul Mow. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hi, Grace. I have the great pleasure of talking to you, so the feeling's mutual.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do, what that video came from, and a little bit about what you're doing at GhostLight.
You know, I'm a performer first, a teacher second, a producer third, a director fourth. I don't know what order I am, all those things, jack of all trades, master of none, right? You know, as soon as this thing went south and we had to, I'm the theater coordinator at Lake Michigan College, part-time staff, but I'm also the artistic director at the GhostLight Theatre in downtown Benton Harbor. So as soon as we had to pull the plug or push pause, whatever we want to say, on Pajama Game, I knew that the innate performer in me needed to kind of burst out and say, we're still here. I'm still performing. I still need my audience. I still need applause. I need love. So that gave birth to a virtual cabaret, and that's what you just saw was the 5th iteration of that. And so I just reached out to as many performers as I could and said, hey, what do you think about singing along with either a karaoke track or a piano track? That was a track that Josh Goins actually, he used to work at LMC. Now he's in grad school at Cincinnati Conservatory. He actually put that down for me in Cincinnati and sent that to me. So I sang to the track. And so there's some difficulties in that because, you're not in the same room together. So I'm singing along to him. But it's been really well received. We've had as many as like 1,500 views every Friday. We started doing it every Friday at first, but now it's become labor intensive. So we've dialed it back to every other Friday, and we might now do that like once a month and make it just like a big premiere situation. But, I think in this time of, faced with these unstable conditions, lack of audience, I think we're going to have new collaborations, and we're going to survive, we're going to create, and there's going to be a lot of new growth. So I think we need to find a new way to express ourselves. And you've done a lot of that at Mendel Center. So this is just one example of that.
Yeah, we're all experimenting and trying to figure out, what works, what's the best ways to communicate and stay in connection with our audiences and just with people throughout the community.
Exactly.
So the GhostLight opened or had its first main season last summer. Is that right?
Yes, June of 2018. We got our occupancy permit the day before we opened, June 15th. So. And we did 4 shows in pseudo repertory June, July, and August last summer.
Okay, yeah, that was great. I came to your first production last year. It was such a fun space. It's really intimate, but you guys just really make the most out of every square foot in that building. It's really impressive.
Economy is definitely the word of the day over there. Space or finances, right? Economy.
Yeah, but that's neat. So where can people find these cabarets that you're putting on? Do they do that through your website?
If you are not on our mailing list, please shoot us an email at info@ghostlightbh.com, BH for Benton Harbor. You can always check out our website, which is ghostlightbh.com, and that usually lists when the next one will be. So summer, people want to be outside, etc. Things are still up in the air as far as how often, but we're still working on programming throughout the summer and trying to figure out. I think we're the only organization that hasn't officially canceled the whole summer. We're still crossing fingers and holding out hope. Things don't look great, but we're already rehearsing. Les Rorick, actually, the LMC instructor of theater, is our director on our first play, and so he's been meeting virtually with the entire cast two times every week, twice weekly. So I got to sit in on a read-through last night. So that's really cool to see them still working and rehearsing. So one way or the other, we hope to share that piece of theater with our audiences still this summer or early in the fall or whenever we're all cleared to make sure everybody's safe and can be rehearsing in the same space, let alone an audience in the same space.
Yeah, right now I think we're still at under 10 people in a place. And so, yeah, even just getting a cast together is difficult, let alone an audience.
Right. And I've seen, I'm sure you guys are sniffing it out every day to see what other theaters are doing. And, we've had some great leadership, I think, from both Stratford and the Guthrie and Broadway saying they're not going to open until at least the fall. But, bigger Broadway shows, as you at Mendel you need months and months and months to produce these things, to fundraise, to plan, to program. So even if someone's saying, oh, we won't be back open till September, that doesn't mean there's going to be shows in September. That means we might actually be in the same office together to plan when we actually can have a casting and an audition and then a producer. It's like these things just take so much legwork, right? As you guys plan your season 2 years in advance at least, don't you?
Yep. Yeah. And then, of course, we just got the news. I know you're involved with the symphony and some of their summer programming as well, and the musicals that happen down by the lake. I think we just heard the other day that those are now officially off for the summer. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. It's the first time in 11 years that I won't be doing a musical with the symphony. It's sad, but it's understandable, and we're going to keep doing what we can to rebound and but there's some things coming up that, I'm still very busy with virtual voice lessons. I wanted to put my own little plug in there. If anybody wants a voice lesson, has always wanted one and just sitting at home binge watching Ozark, give me a call or a text. So I'm still doing a lot of voice lessons. I actually have more attendance virtually than I ever had before. Attendance is really good because kids are stuck at home. They don't have any
anymore. I mean, you're stuck at home all day. You have, what else are you doing?
Yeah. Me or the kids? Yeah.
Yeah, for them. Yeah.
So we just had a great VPA call this morning with our incredible faculty. I mentioned Les Rourke in theater, Chris Zook, Mindy McCaffrey, Rob Lund, and then all of our adjuncts as well. And so we're trying to be innovative there. We're thinking about doing some more play readings online, some Zoom play readings. We might do like a reader's theater where Les and I divvied up between us, and we each pick 2 plays or 3 plays and have 4 to 6 different opportunities for the public and prospective students to actually read a play online and decide over the course of a few months which play they like best, and then they'd have some say in which play gets produced at the college, which I think is a fun way for people to have buy-in and to get people excited about the vehicle that we'll use eventually to perform. We're working, in addition to the virtual cabarets, I think I'm going to start breaking character podcasts again, like once a month, just to kind of highlight a different, kind of what you're doing here, but to highlight Arts District and like what they're doing and their struggle, and make sure that they have a platform for, if you want to donate to this organization, that kind of thing. But just to kind of keep my sanity, I have the podcasting ability there, and Jeremy and I have talked about doing that just once a month virtually and how that would work. But and then we had this group in from Chicago last summer at the GhostLight called Circus Team, and they worked with a good group of kids from the Boys and Girls Club, and they're actually offering a really cool, like very affordable virtual camp. I think it's $75 for 5 weeks worth of programming at 1 hour per week. And what they do is they'll send us through the GhostLight like just very simple, like juggling balls, some scarves, and some other equipment that each student will get to take home or to pick up virtually and be able to do these online programmings throughout the month of June or July. And every week you get 1 hour worth. So we're working on that with them to see if we can do that. We were hoping to bring them in for 2 weeks again this summer, but obviously that went by the wayside. So we're doing everything we can to, prove to everybody that, the arts are essential. We know they're essential. We know we'll bounce back. I love the quote. I don't know if you saw the Guthrie executive director talking about the ancient Greeks. Theater's been here for 2,500 years. It'll probably be here for another 2,500. But
yeah,
we have to be.
Theater, we share, document and share our stories with each other and with with the people that come behind us. So I think people will be using this time and the time after, for their artistic expression. And I think people will be using the arts, whether it's theater or music or poetry, whatever it might be, to express whatever it is that they're going through right now. There's so many emotions right now, and all of that's going to be cataloged in some way. I think a lot of that'll happen through the arts.
Yeah, and there's a lot of great things that are happening out of it too. I mean, maybe 60-40 the other way from great, but how often do Grace and Paul have to stare each other in the face for 15 minutes and actually discuss the life's woes or pluses or minuses? I mean, it's the worst thing in the world to have these connections and this engagement, and that's what theater's all about. But I think we're certainly at the GhostLight, I think the colleges too, that, as much as the arts are important, we also are very conscientious that there are some other real world problems out there and more pressing needs. So as far as, every arts organization has needs, and, keeping the lights on at the GhostLight is very important, but I don't think right now is the absolute time for us to have our hand out, because people are out of work and they're hungry, and there are people that are very, very sick. So I think, as much as we understand the arts are essential, I think there'll be a time for us to say, all right, everybody's back to work, the economy's back on the rise, and then, you remember how often you watch Netflix when you were stuck at home for 6 months? That's the arts, so help us out here.
Where did those people learn to act? It was in their local theater. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. So what's your website so people can find out more about what's going on up to the minute there?
GhostLightBH.com, or of course, lakemichigancollege.edu/arts. Check out what's happening there. And if you have any questions about enrollment, definitely reach out to me at pmow@lakemichigancollege.edu or via that website with Mindy McCaffrey or Chris Zook. We'd be happy to talk to you about enrollment, whether we're online completely or partially this fall. We're looking for some interested students who want to take classes this fall in the performing arts.
Sure, yeah. And then fingers crossed that Pajama Game can get back on the stage sometime this coming school year, hopefully the fall, but yeah. We're so close. So I hope that can find its way to the stage.
We have a group of kids just chomping at the bit, you know,
Right
75% of that show in their pocket saying, when are we going? When are we going? You say jump, I'll say how high. So they're such great students. So we hope we can produce that at some point.
Yeah, you've done amazing things with the musical theater offerings at Lake Michigan College. So it's been really great to see the productions that you've done there over the last few years. And of course, everything you're doing at GhostLight and Symphony and just, you know, the things you put out on your own around town. So yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for sitting down to talk to me today.
Thanks so much for all you guys do at Mendel. You guys lead the charge, and you have the biggest ship on the planet over there to fill up. So you have it rougher than most to try to figure out how you're ever going to fill up 1,500 seats again, especially if you have to sit 4 seats apart.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, but just like we're using this time to try to, you know, use our weight to pick up other people and, you know, help them through this as well. So that's the goal. We're all in it together with this. So.
I really appreciate it.
Cool. All right. Talk to you later, Paul.
Thanks, Grace. Have a great weekend.